here we go. We're gonna do a short mini-series. I'll be posting every day, and what I'm gonna be talking about is the D&D classes. I'm gonna go through the player's handbook one by one in each class and share either a funny story or my thoughts about the class in general, maybe a little bit of both, and that's what we're ready for right now. Yes! For our second session this week in this mini-series, we're talking about bards, which kind of in 5e are awesome, at least in my opinion. 5e D&D, I really feel like they made the bard the character it always wanted to be. They are, and it's even in one of their skills, jack of all trades, right? They're this amazing character that they can be good at just about anything, and that makes them really fun. They're super versatile. My favorite bard is, in this case, one of the bards I played, and this is a fun story for me because this was actually my real introduction into role-playing. I tried role-playing in other games before. I played in the Varlden Reach, which was an awesome game with some really good friends and an incredible DM. We had such a good time. I actually have a playlist that has some of my, what was basically my like campaign diary, I guess, as a player for that game. And wow, it was so much fun. I mean, such a good group of people playing. We had a ton of fun, and I didn't know A, how much fun I would like role-playing, and B, how much fun I would love playing the bard. So with the bard, you obviously have different colleges of, you can take a college of lore or a college of valor and so forth. And what that is it gives you your specialty, of course. This is, at third level, like every other class, you have something that you sort of start to hone in what type of person you are within this class. Now, what I love most basically about the bard is, again, you have this versatility. You can do so many things and play a bard in so many different ways. Whether you want to be this minstrel character who's, who uses their music and their prose and poems and whatever it is, or and just schmoozes all over the world, or whether you want to be some heroic, like swashbuckling debonair character and whatnot. There's so many different ways you can play a bard. I would argue that you could play a bard hundreds of different times in hundreds of different ways and not get bored. There's just so much in the way of options. Now, here's the fun story from my personal experience. This is one of my favorite moments in all of my gaming. This was it, one of them, one of the top 2 or 3. Okay, so I played a bard, and as a bard you have access to magical spells. Well, one of the spells I chose was polymorph, and I used that so that I could be sort of an off tank, right? So I'm not the main tank, I don't have the best armor, I don't have the most hit points. However, by using polymorph, it gave me the opportunity to boost my hit points, essentially. Like if I, at low level, let's say I turn myself into like a rhinoceros or something like this, now all of a sudden, or a giant hyena or whatever it is, all of a sudden I've got lots more hit points, and those hit points don't take away from my character's hit points, which is cool. You probably know this about the mechanic. If you don't, that's basically how it works with polymorph. Once that creature's hit points go away, boop, you just pop back to being yourself. If there's extra damage, that goes over to your character, but this allows you, number one, to do all kinds of cool stuff, because you can transform yourself into a cricket, or a spider, or a bird, or anything you can really think of. Any beast, that's the limitation, any beast that you can think of. So here's what I did. We were fighting some bandits, actually slavers in fact, not a cool topic, not cool people, and we had to deal with them. So I turned myself into a giant ape. Think Mighty Joe Young. Maybe not quite, King Kong, but Mighty Joe Young, a giant freaking gorilla. And basically, I was having fun because I was just smashing these goblins and orcs and whatever, but at one point, this was hysterical. I said, okay, here's what I'd like to do, DM. I want to try to grab one of the goblins by the ankle and just smash one of the other ones with the goblin. And I did, and then I threw the goblin through the air. And because of a series of great rolls and some fun storytelling and role-playing, this goblin goes into the trees or something like that, and it was hysterical and super fun, and just one teeny tiny example of the kind of silliness you can get into with bards. Now, of course, that can be true for any character that has access to polymorph. You can do all sorts of goofy stuff, but that was just one example. Captain Germain Santo was one of my favorite characters. He talked with a very fun accent. I got to talk to him. He was like kind of this guy in the guy. He's very smooth, and he talked very straight. He was a very honest guy. He was a soldier, and I like to take the soldier background. And he had this sort of Spanish, Italian or something kind of accent. I don't even know what it was. Kind of his own accent, but he was his own man, and he was a great man. And I had so much fun playing Captain Germain Santo. One of my favorite characters. As a bard, he was just great to play. And that's my experience playing the bard. I would love to hear your experience about your great bard stories. Of course, there's always Scanlan from Critical Role. Oh my goodness, what a phenomenal bard Scanlan was. Check him out if you haven't. At least go check out the highlights, because Sam Riegel is a genius and he was awesome as a bard. I'll be back again tomorrow with more of this great D&D stuff as we go through the classes. Until then, keep rolling 20s, and remember, it's your game, play your way.